Where do you see Flaherty landing?
Well, there's going to be some competition because there's some good teams that haven't really done a whole lot yet. He pitched well for LA. He's always had good stuff. He's on that great high school staff at Harvard Westlake. And he's somebody that really, I think, used the trade from Detroit to the Dodgers to his advantage. And he pitched well. He pitched good in the postseason. When you look about the postseason, most of the time you've got 15 games going on. You get to the postseason, you got one or two going on.
Right.
And then at the end, you've got only one going on. So everything is focused from a scouting perspective on those teams, those games, and really the specialness of each player to be able to compete at that level. So I'm not sure where he's going to end up. I think that, he's going to, there's no more need than there are starting pitchers of his quality. So I think he'll probably do fairly well in the market. He's probably just making a choice. He's probably making a choice more than somebody's making a choice on him.
Right. And do you see any teams in particular that have a stronger need for someone like Flaherty?
Well, except for maybe the Dodgers, who are going to obviously make a run at Sasaki too later this month. Nobody has the surplus. Everybody needs pitching. And once you get into spring training, it's hard, Danny. It's hard to fill that gap if somebody gets hurt. You get into the regular season, it's almost impossible until you get to the trading deadline. And then if it's starting pitching, you're going to be one of many teams trying to secure that pitcher. So it's tough to handicap who's most likely. I don't like trying to look into the crystal ball and figuring that out. All I can tell you is that I don't know any other team but LA that does not have the need, because you can find a spot for Flaherty. There's no doubt for who you are. You can find a spot and you build it out from there. If you see him as a 3 or you see him even as a 4, but at least a 3 probably, you're pushing your current 3 back to 4, your current 4 back to 5, your 5 into a long reliever or something else, or in reserve, or if it's a rookie, you're pushing him back to AAA. So, you add somebody of that quality, you're making a good move, and you're gonna push your whole staff back. There's every other team in the league that competes has got the need. It's tough to go into a season with young pitching, with unproven young pitching, because you don't know what you're going to get. And again, this is not a baseball week or a baseball month. It's 6 months. What young pitcher on a staff? Somebody's going to say, well, we expect this young starter to pitch for us this year. Well, how much does that mean? 10 starts, 15 starts, 18 starts? You're still going to need 32 out of that position. So where do you find that? It's tough to go into it when you're undermanned. It's tough to go into a season if you've got a couple guys that are a little bit banged up coming into camp, and it's tough to do it when you've got young pitching. If you're planning on contending, you need the veteran, because people are going to break as the season goes on, and it's tough to give the ball 30, 32 times to somebody that hasn't done it for at least 25 to 28 times the year before and came out of it strong. So I think there's numerous teams that would have an interest in quality starting pitching, whether it's Jack or anybody else.
All right. I got to give a shout out here. My buddy and former partner on the show, Eric, said, Dan, love the cap, but this is coming. Did Christie give it to you? He calling me old, Eric. I know I get called old a lot. Yeah, Christy Mathewson handed it to me.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. At least it was a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, there we go.
And he could start too. He give you some innings.
Yeah, that's right. Eric loved those old timers, man. If I picked the 26-man roster the other day, put my all-time 26 roster together, I didn't have too many old guys. I had Gehrig and Ruth, and Ted Williams, but I didn't go back to Honus Wagner or anybody like that. For shortstop, I went with A-Rod, and I didn't factor in anything about steroids. I didn't care. I just, Bonds was on my team, and
I hope Jeter was on your team.
Jeter was on my team.
Where'd you have him? He was the backup to A-Rod?
Yeah.
No, come on.
It's a tough call. One of
the greatest players in the history of the sport.
Yeah, Jeter made my team. So did Ricky.
Tremendous leader too. We can't discount the leadership aspect.
Yeah, that's why I put him on there. He was a great leader, man. That was unbelievable.